Did I miss something profound, or was there really never much there to begin with? What's going on? I'm Morgan. I'm a director, cinematographer, here today to discuss the 2026 indie horror film Backrooms. It's rare that I find a horror film that is so successful at making me so scared in the moment. It delivers so much in terms of execution, but I feel like it's so committed to the mystery that it undermines its own meaning. Even if I'm a little bit mixed on this story, where this film sits in the overall landscape of filmmaking and horror films in general is worth taking note of. This film was directed by Kane Parsons, and at the time of this recording, he's around 21 years old. He's the youngest director to ever get the nod from A24, and this film is largely a continuation of the myth that he's developed online through the Backrooms series. It's interesting because this follows this new pattern of online success, and that the old model of creating your feature film, bringing it to Sundance, bringing it to Cannes, is maybe dissolving faster than we think it is. And internet virality can lead to commercial success in the box office. This film was created with a generally modest budget of around 10 million, and around the time of this recording, through the box office, it's generated about $277 million of revenue. This wasn't a $200 million studio swing. It didn't have recycled IP or Marvel characters or a large Hollywood cast. It was based off of this already present online audience. And it's worth wondering, is this a new path in the world of filmmaking? So the success is backed up by the numbers online and in the box office. So is Backrooms important because it's such a great movie, or is it important that it occupies this space in the industry that proves that the path to directing and filmmaking is fundamentally undergoing changes? So the first thing I want to dive in on here is the success and limitations of the premise. These liminal spaces. It's very post-COVID, very Gen Z, very online, very contemporary in contrast to something like a Nosferatu castle. The found footage VHS aesthetic is doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to elevating this premise as well. It's really interesting in this movie too how it weaponizes normal things, like a normal chair but skewed to the side, or like a pile of laundry, or one that really stood out to me was the song Feliz Navidad. Whereas Feliz Navidad, it's not really functioning as a Christmas song anymore, but it's functioning as something more along the lines of a horror anthem. For all the things this premise does well, it feels like it found this unnerving vibe and just keeps pressing that button over and over again and cashes the same check time and time again. The other thing that really stood out to me while watching this was that the film weaponized curiosity without really paying it back. The characters kept opening luggage or finding a new room and going, oh, what the fuck? And then cut to a new room. Oh, what is this? And they just kept doing that on repeat and repeat. And I was honestly like, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is going on here? Are the backrooms supposed to symbolize someone's memory, the recesses of someone's mind, someone's past experiences that are fragmented and misremembered? It's hard to say. It was never explained, and no one can come to a definitive answer, really. They kept using these reoccurring symbols and motifs, and I kept wanting to be like, what is the meaning of this dove? What is the meaning of all these tapes? Each time a character would ask, what the fuck is that? It makes this implicit promise that my curiosity is justified. And when they don't fulfill that by the end, it feels like a promise broken. The movie keeps reasserting this same fear, but never deepens the mysteries behind it. And while that scares me in the moment, it doesn't necessarily leave me haunted after I've left the theater. So we're diving in on the report card here. The first criteria I got is the editing. The editing of this film was superb. It's a masterclass in tension and release. I'm gonna land on a solid A zone for this. Even though it keeps repeating itself moment to moment thematically, the editorial control over this whole thing is extremely strong. So when it comes to story, I'm probably landing at a pretty solid C grade for this one. Underneath all the execution, the story was pretty underconsidered and underdeveloped. It felt less like the movie had a compelling story to tell and more that they needed to package up this concept. The characters in this thing, I'm landing at about a solid C- to a D rating. It doesn't really feel like these characters have any interiority or any motivations that are really driving the story here. I'm not really leaving Backrooms with a sense that I know who these characters are, or they're a unique personality that have different perspectives to offer. They're mostly just body vessels that are able to move through these backrooms. The music and sound for this thing were incredibly good. Kane Parsons actually scored this, and the music does a ton of the heavy lifting to build the tension around this horror stimulus environment. You know, the cinematography is probably landing at around a B- scale to me. The intro cold open oneer take I thought was insanely interesting and had me gripped right from the beginning of the film. Choices like that were a huge part of why the movie works, but at the same time, nothing visually really stood out to me as top-level cinematography. So overall with this thing, I'm gonna land at a pretty solid B rating, maybe a light B-. And I mean, with the shortcomings with the plot, but the flawless execution, it's hard to say if you should check this thing out. If you love horror movies, it's definitely worth a watch, but don't expect it to redefine the genre. Thanks for watching this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this film if you watched it in the comments below, and I'll see you with the next one.